Hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in again. I am Latanya White, entrepreneur, educator, and mentor. If you're watching online, you can probably see my CV and background and everything like that, but this isn't about me today. This is about my good friend, Tiffany Hamilton. So I'm so excited to talk with her today. Broker, realtor, innovator, all around good person, definitely someone you need to have in your corner and someone that you can, just call. So as you probably know by now, if you've been following or keeping up with what I'm talking about, what I'm posting, you know that a major thing, like my soapbox now, is fear and how it impacts women of color, especially in the entrepreneurial space. So becoming fearless is a blueprint that I literally just stumbled upon. I didn't even know I was doing this, but it's this way, it's like a compass. It's a guide for how not just minority entrepreneurs or women of color, it's not just how we can use our passion, our talents, and our God-given gifts to create entrepreneurial endeavors, but how anybody, any innovator, any creative can do the same thing. So just got the design finalized of the cover for the book and looking forward to working with my publisher, Shanley McCray of Opportune Publishing. But what we're going to be talking about today is how fear can, hold us back. In Tiffany's case, did it hold her back, and how she began her journey to becoming fearless and what that's produced for her today. So, Tiffany.
Hey.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thanhank you for that little plug-in. That was awesome.
Yes, of course. I couldn't have it any other way. This is Tiffany Hamilton. We're talking the Tiffany Hamilton.
So funny. Well, if tell your audience, I'm sorry if you hear noise in the background. I am driving at the moment.
Okay.
But that's how we do things. Make it happen.
This is true. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hang up from the computer and dial in from my phone, and that might help. So just hold on one quick second.
Okay.
I think we're good. We'll go ahead and get started because I know that you're in between showings. So tell us a little bit about what it is that you do as a broker, realtor, an innovator, a mentor. What all are you doing?
One of the first things I would say is, first and foremost, I'm a real estate agent. I'm a realtor. I'm a member of the National Association of Real Estate Agents. So there's a difference between being a licensed realtor and then just being a realtor. And so a realtor is someone who has to abide by the National Association Code of Ethics. So that means we're held to a higher ethical standard. And to me, that is the difference between being just a licensed agent and a professional real estate agent. And I'm also the broker of the firm, which means I'm the owner, I'm the manager. Not every broker is an owner, but in this case, I do own my own brokerage firm. Every licensed agent under me gets their direction from me. Their license attaches to my license, which also means if they screw up, it comes back to me. So I try to make sure that every agent that's connected with me, our staff, our volunteers, our interns, everybody is held to the same standard of professionalism as if they are licensed, even if they are not licensed.
Okay. And I know that we kind of go way back. I don't even remember when we met, but when we did first cross paths, I know that you had already been in real estate for years. So, and you started when you were in school, right, in college?
Yeah, I started when I'm a graduate of Florida A&M. I started my sophomore year. I got my license my sophomore year of college, and I started working for a minority firm because I wanted to I wanted to understand. Well, actually, I got my license because I wanted to buy real estate, and nobody believed me.
Okay.
Because I was so young, everybody was like, you need to focus on school. I'm like, I'm focusing on school, but I also see what's going on in the real estate market, and I want to know what I'm doing. And my realtor, although she was very nice, I felt like she was treating me like a child. So I just happened to be driving on Thomasville Road. I don't even remember where I was going, and I saw a big sign that said the real estate school. So I popped the UE, pulled over, walked into the class, and was like, so what is this, and how much does it cost? and, all that stuff. And I got a part-time job so that I could afford to take the class, and actually working at Krispy Kreme now that I think about it. And took the class, passed, and got my license, and then I attached it to a local firm here, and I started out as a volunteer for him. So I didn't want a paid job. I wanted somebody to give me the time of day. And one of the things I realized is sometimes you have to pay your dues. You can't walk into the door and say, which I've actually had a student do this to me. They walk into the door and say, you need me, and this is why you should pay me to work for you. And I thought they had gumption, but I was like, no. I started out as an intern, a volunteer, and I had to do grunt work. I had to go down to the city. I had to learn real estate from the bottom up. And then he let me go to actually start handling some of his clients. Once he saw that I followed up, I was being professional. If I didn't know something, I asked the question. I didn't lie about it. And so then he entrusted me with some of his clients, and which are still some of my clients today. So that's kind of how things got started for me.
Okay. Definitely in true Tiffany form.
But I don't remember how we met either, now that I think about it. It had been a while.
I don't know.
I feel like I've always known you. I know.
Oh, man. So then, kind of in keeping with the being fearless theme, was there any fear since you just were passing by and made the U-turn and you walked in? Was there any fear and if there was, how did you overcome it? Like, how did you get over any fear that you may have had back then?
I think when you're younger, your fear is different. The fear isn't trying, it's failing. So I would not sleep to try to get stuff done on time. I would stay up and, eyes burning, and I wanted to make sure everything was perfect. So my fear then is different than your fear when you get older, I think, and you get into the professional arena. So I was not fearless. I just didn't realize that what was driving me was the fear of not succeeding. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
So it was a different type of thing. But I can honestly say that I also didn't start out being this vocal either. I had to learn it. When I first started in real estate, I was very quiet. I had to go to networking events, and when I would go, I would find the person I knew and follow them the whole time. I wasn't meeting new people. I wasn't out introducing myself. So although people would see me at a lot of events, if they actually paid attention to what I was doing, I usually had a book in my purse so that I could sit on the couch or something and read a book. Or I would just hone in on somebody I knew, and that's the person I was around the whole night. And if I met somebody through them introducing us, then that's, how that worked. So it wasn't until later that as I got comfortable in my field and I actually had to start doing motivational moments for myself. Like I would wake up in the morning and I say, you can do this. Or if I go to an event, I would look in the mirror and say, don't be afraid to go meet somebody new. What am I going to do? What's my target for this event? So if I would go to an event, I would say, all right, I want to meet one person I don't know. And whether or not I walk up to them and say something completely stupid and asinine, then I just won't talk to that person anymore, and I go to the next person until I met. Because you don't always say the right things, especially when you're first starting out. You don't always know what to say. FAMU did a good job in professional development by giving us key things. If you meet somebody, think of something to remember their name. Like if they're you know the drill. Or if you stick to the weather. Don't talk about politics, which is true to form. Do not talk about politics. I don't care how much somebody says it's okay. you can gloss over it, you can make a joke about it if you want, but don't engage in political conversation in any type of networking environment unless you are amongst friends. And even then, you want to be careful about the environment you're in. And it's not a fear thing. It's just more about you're there for business. You're not there for politics. Yeah. Politic on your own time. Go there for your target while you're there. And if your target is to meet somebody that's going to help you in your business, what happens if they're a Republican or a Democrat and you just said how much you hated the Democratic Party or you just hated the Republican Party? You just ruined that potential connection over something you probably really didn't mean. So, so those are like key things for me. And then it was just being around people who encouraged me. Not listening to people that told me what I couldn't do, but hanging around people that said, try it. If you fail, so what? You failed. Keep moving. So I think the fear factor was fearing not taking initiative initially because I was scared of not succeeding at it, so I wouldn't try it. And then it became, I'm trying it, now what if I screw up? And the only thing you can start saying to yourself is, so what? If you screw up, try something different. And if you start changing your mentality, it opens up your platform when you no longer allow people to tell you what you can't do, and you focus on all the things you can. And when you can't do something, you find somebody who can do it better than you, and you connect with them. That's how that works.
Absolutely.
So I hope that answered your question.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely did. And it actually is a great segue into my question about how you evaluated the transition to going from realtor or primarily being a realtor to being a broker. Or is there, for those of us that aren't as familiar with professional real estate, is there a huge difference, or is the transition very, is it like a hard stop from being a realtor and going into a broker?
It's a huge difference. So a broker is the equivalent of a manager. So as a licensed real estate agent or realtor, you are only in control of yourself. You only have to worry about the guidelines from your company and your schedule and what you want to do, who you feel like talking to, do you feel like working that day, how successful you want to be, what kind of income you want to make. When you're a broker, you have to worry about everybody under you. You have to worry about the feeding your staff. Because if you're tired that day and you don't want to go out and show a property to make that sale that's going to pay that employee who relies on a salary from you, it's a whole different pressure level. And you also have to train. So you have to train, educate. You have to pay attention to the laws outside of real estate sales. You are almost like the parent of everybody that's underneath you. So it's a huge responsibility. And if you're not ready for the responsibility, don't go after it. You can become what's called a broker associate. So you can have the education and the license of a broker, but not be responsible for managing people. And that's the one thing I talk to with new brokers. I'm always open for people to come shadow me. I have plenty of brokers in town and even independent brokers in this area who call me for advice, and I will happily give it. I'm all about sharing the knowledge. And one of the key things I always say is if you're not ready to manage people, if you're not ready to be a parent, don't do it. If you want the license and education, then go for it. Go for the license and education. But if you don't want to manage people, if you don't want people calling you, asking you questions, and being responsible for the growth pattern of a professional, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. It's a responsibility.
Okay. Your comment about, kind of mentoring, even informally, new brokers and brokers around town. We talk a lot about leverage and making sure that you're maximizing the little bit of time that you do have in the day. Have you given any more thought to getting into the information marketing or info product side of being a mentor where you can scale yourself or clone yourself, for lack of a better analogy?
It is something that I've thought about. It's just that right now our company is in this growth spurt. And so although my personal direction is a plan that I'm going to take the time to think about, I have 9 agents under me right now that I got to start preparing them for 2017. So for me, my downtime is probably going to be around Christmas. But, right now we're planning like the annual retreat. We're planning their training sessions for 2017. So right now I'm in planning mode for the overall company. But it is something that people have asked me to do. They've asked me to write books and a couple other things. So it is something that I'm definitely interested in. It's just not in the cards at the moment.
Okay. I know a lot about that because my next question is really going to ask you, how in the world do you manage 168 hours in a week? Because I know that you have a full-time life and a full-time, everything you do is like on level 10. So, and I know a part of you being able to manage these things and, prepare for what's next for you is in having the right people around you, personal assistant, executive assistant. So when this does get out there, I'm going to take it upon myself to ask people if they're interested in becoming your virtual assistant to get in touch with me so I can vet them for you. So
I appreciate that. You actually cut out for a second there, so I'm sorry. I heard level 10 and then virtual assistant.
Yes, all of that to say everything you do is on level 10 and you need an assistant.
Oh, I do need an assistant, so if you know a good person, let me know. I'm interviewing. But if you're able to interview, that'd be even better. Just tell me who I should hire. That will work for me.
Exactly. So in the meantime, like before you do get this assistant, what are you doing to create leverage in the business and for yourself personally?
I think for me it's knowledge. So I would say the way I'm creating leverage is to go outside of my comfort zone and be more visible, because I'm not naturally a person that needs to be in front of the camera or needs to be, in front of things. And right now our company is the branding face for the chamber, so they're doing ads on us and putting them in TV spots and billboards and stuff like that. I have a real estate partner, so she does more of the TV spots, but so do I. So I'm doing some TV spots. I have a few more coming out of the woodworks, and then I have education sessions at our office, so people can come and ask questions. They can be the first-time home buyer, but I'm trying to make it replicatable by recording them, making them video libraries that people can go back and watch at any time. So what I'm trying to do is, instead of doing something once, I'm recording it so it can be duplicated multiple times.
Absolutely. I support it.
Well, thank
so
you.
That kind of tells me already what's next for your personal brand, for the brand that is Tiffany Hamilton. The outside of, once you get past the corporate retreat and everything like that, is there anything else that you are working on that you can share right now?
Right now I think what I'm working on, aside from the company, is more of the education component. I have a website that I'm getting worked on now that will have information for, the real estate industry, either from a real estate agent standpoint and or a marketing and sales realtor standpoint, as well as consumer driven. So it's going to have a leg that is for realtors if they just need education on something, a video library that they can go and watch. And then there's also the, just glossary of, this is real estate, this is what this means, this is what you're going to be looking for, but it's in a video format. So that's something kind of coming out of the woodwork in the next 6 months or so.
Very cool. So will that still be on TiffanyHamilton.com, or will it be like a totally different website?
No, that's actually going to be TiffanyHamilton.com. So we have a company website. So TiffanyHamilton.com is strictly about anything I want to do individual from the company. It still has listings. It still is a way for a buyer to sign on and search properties. But you also want to have this other leg where if they want me to speak at something, because I always have people asking me to come speak at something. So it's a way for them to kind of put in the contact information so I can either follow up or have somebody follow up. Or they can look at my calendar and see my availability for any speaking type of engagements. And then there's also the education component, because my biggest thing as a professional is to make sure other professionals are educated, but then to also make sure that our consumers are educated, because I don't want a buyer or a seller to just take my word for anything. Yes, you can take my word because you trust me, but I don't want that to be the end-all, be-all. I want you to be able to go anywhere and double-check everything I just said if you wanted to.
Okay.
So that's kind of the goal of TiffanyHamilton.com.
That's pretty cool. That's really, really cool. So what I want to invite our listeners to do is to just journey with us, journey with me, journey with Tiffany, and all these different things that she's working on. And so, Tiffany, what I have on the screen now is just your Twitter and Instagram, Tiffany FLRE, or at Tiffany FLRE.
Yeah.
And then on Facebook, Tallahassee Realtor, right? That's like facebook.com/. Okay. So that's how you connect with Tiffany. You guys probably already know how to connect with me, but I spend a lot of time in the Entrepreneurs Top 5, the Facebook community that I am building and would love to have more people join us. And so, Tiffany, on your Facebook page, you have, like, your most recent post is about an instant home valuation tool. Tell us about that. Like, what is that?
So the instant home valuation tool is really where you can put in an address and get a estimate of its value. It's very similar to what an appraiser would do if they were coming out and giving you an appraisal, but instead of it being 15 or 20 pages, it's just a summation. It's just telling you this is your estimated value range, this is what's going on in your market, and you get it quickly. So instead of having to wait 12 days, you may wait 3 days.
And it's free? Like, that's what it says on here. It says it's free?
It is. It is free.
It is free. Cool.
If you want the information, we'll give it to you. Like I said, my biggest thing is about knowledge. So I'm open to sharing. I'm not charging anybody for it. It's just making sure you have the information you need. So if you're thinking about selling your home and you want to get its value before interviewing realtors, so that when a realtor comes to you and tell you what your value is, you can always say, well, I've looked at the comps, or I've received these comps. Why aren't they included in your evaluation? Or if that realtor is bringing the same material, they at least are, good and they're doing their job.
Absolutely. Pretty cool. Well, so that's one of the freebies that you have, and I also would like to extend a free offer to whoever's tuning in. Earlier this year, I gave a talk to the Power Networking Conference, George Frazier's Power Networking Conference, and I, to your point about having things recorded and doing it once and letting it, using it as leverage, that's something that I didn't even know I was doing at the time, but I'm so thankful that they required us to record our talk. So that's something that I'm making available for anyone that is tuning in. And just to kind of wrap up, I want to share a parting quote, and certainly, Tiffany, if you have anything else that you want to share, I'd like to open the floor to you first.
Don't give up on you, and don't let fear stop you. Let it encourage you.
Cool. I love that.
It didn't come from me.
So when I go back and like make the graphic for that quote, I'll make sure to put Tiffany Hamilton.
Yes, quote me.
I love it. Well, the value that we offer the world is in the transformation that we inspire others to take. So I thank you, Tiffany, for inspiring in us this transformation to not give up on ourselves. And that's so huge, especially in communities of color. So thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome. No, thank you for the invitation. I'm honored. Thank you very much.
Yay. All righty. So we'll connect again soon, and I'll just be looking forward to more big things from you, and so will the rest of the world.
Well, thank you very much. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.